Service in Raleigh. It's Thursday, the 25th of September at 5 p.m. This is a sort of an impromptu briefing. There's a lot of stuff going on here that may or could potentially impact Central North Carolina. So I wanted to just kind of take this opportunity to kind of just catch up and give folks an opportunity to ask questions and just put out what we know, what we don't know, and what are our concerns. This is a sort of a two-part system, two-part weather concerns, right? And the first concern is the weather that we have associated with this big batch of cloudiness and storms, right? So this is all associated with a big upper level trough. This is obviously not tropical related. This has nothing to do with, all the news about the systems off the southeast coast. This was going to happen independently and outside of any tropical activity. So I just wanted to put that out there first, because one of the concerns of several is, number one, look how hot it is right now. Those are actual temperatures. So as I put this into a pause, you can see we've got low 90s across the coastal plain in eastern Piedmont and North Carolina. You'll notice it's cooler as you go to the west. That's behind the cold front. So there is a frontal system associated with this, and unfortunately, let me just plot this here real quick. Oh, not the one I wanted to plot. Bear with me here for just a second. Let me turn off temperatures, and you could see this trough is, its axis is way to our west. So look how these arrows are the winds in the upper level part of upper half of the atmosphere, if you will. So we've got a deep plume of moisture originating from the Gulf of Mexico that's going to stream northward as we head through the next two, maybe 3 days. And this system is providing its own ascent or lift to provide showers and thunderstorms and even periods of rain as we head through the next couple days. So let me just make a quick jump here to current radar, because I want to show you again. This is very perishable information. In other words, if you're watching this late after we do this live, then these storms, remember, are not going to be live. This is live as of 5:03 p.m. on this Thursday, the 25th of September. So let me just put that out there. But you can see there's with all that warmth, unseasonable warmth, there is clearly a severe thunderstorm warning for southeast portions of North Carolina. We're keeping a close eye on these cells as they march across the coast, the Sandhills region towards the Fayetteville region and maybe the southern sections of the Triangle region as they head towards I-95. So we're keeping an eye on that. There is a risk that the stronger, taller ones of these storms could result in a localized damaging wind gust. I'm not saying that's going to happen right now here across the Sandhills region of North Carolina. I'm saying if these storms continue to strengthen and grow, that will be the primary threat if any of these do become severe. So this will be the case. This will be the weather we're dealing with here over the next couple hours, okay? So then as we head, let me go put this back up. It's going to take a while to get this trough through here. So we're going to have occasional periods of rain moving across central North Carolina as we head through the next couple days. So let me put on the screen now a graphic here that shows how much rain. So these graphics I'm about to show you are available at weather.gov/Raleigh, or you can put in RAH. Either way, it doesn't matter. I'll just put in Raleigh here since we're the Raleigh forecast office for Central North Carolina, based out of Raleigh. And if you tag on NC at the end, that'll take you to these graphics. And I like to use these to show how much rain, okay? So here is the rainfall expected through tonight. So, there could be, upwards of a 1/4 inch that falls pretty quickly, I might add. So, a lot of places aren't going to get any rain because these, as I showed you on radar, they're pretty scattered. But the places that get under one of the heavier downpours, there could be a real quick 1/4 inch of rain. And you're probably thinking, well, 1/4 inch of rain isn't that much. Well, but if it only falls in 5 minutes, if it falls in a very short period of time, that could result in some heavy ponding of water, maybe even some very localized minor flooding. And then here is the rainfall expected during the daytime Friday through Friday night. So we're talking anywhere from a quarter to a half inch across the western Piedmont to across western sections of central North Carolina. And you know what? Let me make this a little bigger. My apologies. What's good on my screen may not be good on yours. So let me blow it up here and make it a little easier to read. So there's tomorrow's. So basically anywhere from a quarter to as much as of an inch of rain. It looks like maybe the heaviest rain might fall basically from the Triangle region south through Sanford and maybe down toward Rockingham. So the Triangle region down through the Sandhills of North Carolina. So that's Friday night. And then Saturday, unfortunately, it looks pretty wet. We have, anywhere from a half inch of rain, quarter to a half inch of rain, maybe as much as an inch of rain across the Triad region to an inch or more across the I-95 corridor and areas north of the Triangle. So bottom line is when you add up 3 days worth of rainfall, this is those 3 days, basically right now through Sunday morning, we're going to be looking at, maybe a couple inches of rain. Perhaps the heaviest rain along the I-95 corridor and from the Triangle north towards the Virginia border. So anyway, that is, again, totally separate, isolated from any tropical cyclone activity. This is going to happen regardless. Oh, by the way, it's not going to end Sunday morning. There might even be more Sunday morning. There could be another inch and a half of rain, again, non-tropical, associated with that slow-moving trough. There could be another inch and a half of rain along and east of I-95 on Sunday. So I'm actually creating a graphic right now to send out. I'm going to email this graphic out after we wrap up here. I'm still tweaking the text, so please don't focus too much on the text. I've got some tweaking to do here, but I wanted to show you the graphic because I put this graphic together to show you what is going to be the 4-day total. We don't have a 4-day total rainfall map on that web page I just showed you, so I had to create this one manually. But this covers all the rain from basically right now through Sunday night. Okay, so the rainfall right now through Sunday night, basically 3.5, 4 days of rain, and we're looking at anywhere from up to an inch or two. Basically across the western half of central North Carolina, the Triad down towards Wadesboro and Albemarle, if I can not get tongue twisted here, to 2 to 3 inches of rain, basically from the Triangle region eastward, including the I-95 corridor. So that is a 4-day rainfall amount. Okay, so I just got a note here that the audio dropped out, and my apologies for any bandwidth issues here. Hopefully it's been restored or has come back. So that is 4 days worth of rainfall right there. All right. So anyway, that is just this system here. All right. Now let's turn our attention to the tropics. So what do we got in the tropics? We've got, basically Umberto, which is forecast to strengthen, forecast to become a major hurricane there. And just south of Bermuda, basically halfway between the let's see here if I can turn off my satellite here to get, there's Bermuda right there. So south of Bermuda, right? I was having a hard time seeing that with the satellite. Yeah, so anyway, south of Bermuda, obviously still west of the East Coast in Florida, and that Umberto is forecast to basically track along this yellow line here and turn up towards the north. Okay, the other area of disturbed weather we're keeping an eye on is this area right here. Okay, so that area, this circled area, is the concern. And if we go to the Hurricane Center's website here, and let me get rid of these drawings here. Let's take a look here. So you can see Umberto track is expected to stay well east of North Carolina. Okay, so I haven't found a model yet that really has this moving directly towards the Carolinas. Every model I look at that I've looked at shows it basically staying well to the east. It's this area of disturbed weather that I've pointed out here in the tropical weather outlook there, that I circled on that map previously, that is forecast to possibly develop, and the Hurricane Center gives that a 90%, a near certainty that it will develop into a tropical system, probably obviously first a depression and then maybe a tropical storm as we head through the next couple days. Okay, now this is a very complicated scenario. I'm sure you've seen some, whether it's reports in the media or us talking about it in our forecast discussions. But this first system here, and let me get my drawing tools out again, when it's out here and sort of circulating, its circulation is going to be sort of like you see here, right, counterclockwise. And then you have this system here. If it were to move up northwest, these two systems can kind of dance around each other and affect one another. Okay, so there could be some some effect with each one impacting the other. What I was really hoping for the safety of the Carolinas, for the impacts of Carolinas, I was hoping that this first system, Umberto, would draw in this next system that potentially could develop and absorb it, or at least pull it off of the southeast coast. And that still could happen, right? So again, I think there's a lot of uncertainties. Is this eastern system how's it going to impact this system, given that they're so close? And that's the challenge as we head through the weekend into early next week. And not to forget to mention rather, that we have this big trough that's going to be positioned across the east, and oftentimes, well, it's these troughs rather that also tend to pull these systems northward. So the bottom line is there's a lot of moving parts. It's a very complicated scenario. Let me just show you a couple of the models that are out there, just to kind of, these are all out there all over the internet, so you can find them if you look for them. But starting with the tropical weather outlook, you can see it here on the right side of this screen. As we go to some of the models, you can see this particular, this is a plot of some of the deterministic models, including the GFS, the European, the Canadian. This is as of models from this morning, and you could see there this morning there's been a trend towards taking it towards the Carolinas. If we look at some of the ensemble members, this is as of, again, this morning. The GFS model has its own suite of ensembles, and that's what we're looking at here. And again, you can see when you see these spaghetti models all kind of like exploding in all directions, what does that tell you? Obviously, there's still a lot of uncertainty in the track, right? You have a different set of ensembles that look just as messy, right? This is the morning run of the European ensembles. And this is different from this morning. This morning's European, or last night's European ensembles basically had almost every member tracking right up toward North Carolina. And now it just looks like a big mess, right? Gosh, this looks so different than it did this morning. I mean, yeah. The point is, okay, and you can hear probably in my tone that there is a great deal of uncertainty, right? I mean, look, you have two possible scenarios in the Canadian ensembles. You have one that basically keeps it offshore, the Umberto helping to pull it out eastward, and you have just a handful of models here that take it towards the Carolinas. You have the UK Met models, which the vast majority of them keep them offshore. And then finally, you have, I'm sure everybody's heard by now, the National Weather Service, the Hurricane Center is working with Google and the DeepMind, and that's an AI-driven model suite. And you could see, again, there's two basic scenarios. There's a track, one scenario that keeps the track, well to the east, and then there's this second subset that basically takes it towards the Carolinas. Okay, so every 12 hours when these models run, they offer something different. Okay, there's been very little, if any, run-to-run consistency. I mean, just look at the European ensembles. Like I said, this is the European ensembles, which a great deal of them, a great number of them, still are clustered around drawing it north into North Carolina. But now there's some of these that just take it. There are some here that go east, you know, but this is much different than it was this morning. This morning, almost all of them were headed straight towards North Carolina. So, you know, the jury is still out on this, okay? We still have a lot of days before we really nail down what's going to happen. And again, if I haven't, you know, reiterated it enough times already, the complication is Umberto and how it will, you know, impact the steering currents and how it will affect the steering flow. You have the big trough, which the troughs tend to absorb these and pull them northward. They tend to pull them northward. That's their job. That's how troughs, you know, in the westerlies impact tropical cyclones. That's how they're supposed to impact tropical cyclones. You know, anyway, that said, I do want to quickly show you what our official forecast is. And again, you could take this with a grain of salt because it's likely to change based on the track of the storm. But you know, let's just say that there was a track. You know, our afternoon forecast, because again, this is out there and you probably have seen it, shows, you know, a couple inches of rain there on Monday, you know, maybe an inch or so of rain on Tuesday, you know, before things finally begin to wind down. I think some of this heavier rain we were showing for Monday into Tuesday was based on, you know, some of those earlier runs that showed more of that western track. You know, again, this could all change. You know, if that eastern scenario plays out, it could be dry during this time. Not a drop of rain if that recurvature back to the east plays out. All right, so that's all I really have to share with you. I wanted to share with you the, you know, possible scenarios. And I wanted to just more than anything convey to you the high degree of uncertainty. Okay, so, you know, there's so many moving parts and so much uncertainty that I don't really think anybody probably has a really good handle on exactly how this is going to play out, right? So just be careful when you see a lot of hype on social media. You know, don't get sucked into it. Yeah, there's a solution out there that shows it coming directly at us, but there's also a good solution that shows us staying away. So just be careful. Make sure you get your weather information from trusted sources. You know, we're here. Keeping an eye on things. We'll keep you updated. We'll continue to do these briefings. I don't have one scheduled for tomorrow. We'll schedule them kind of as needed as things evolve. But again, more than anything else, you know, even the tropical systems aside, remove that from the forecast scenario altogether. We're still going to get a lot of rain here through the next 3 days. You know, 2, 3, 4 inches of rain over the next 3 days. Nothing to do with the tropics. You know, I mean, we're going to have weather hazards anyway over the next 3 days. And if nothing else, I wanted to convey that to you at this briefing. So anyway, I'll leave you here before I turn off the recording. I'll leave you with the current radar because that's here and now, 5:19 here on the 25th of September here on this Thursday evening. So I wanted to let you see that we got some weather to deal with right now. So that's my briefing. Stay tuned. You know, I'll send that single slide briefing out that I showed you I was preparing shortly after we're wrapped up here. But that's what we've got going on here this Thursday afternoon from Central North Carolina, the Raleigh Forecast Office giving you that update here. Again, we'll be in touch.